it's always an option with the Arizona Cardinals. It's an option with every team, but it's always an option with the Cardinals after Monty Ossenfort did all the wheeling and dealing his first year in the first round of the draft, that they might trade up or down. We had Gambo on earlier. He said they're not trading up, and I agree. I think, I guess they could, but it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense for them to trade up, and Gambo said pretty definitively that they're not going to trade up. So I'm going to go ahead and rule that part out, Wolf. But
you know what's interesting about that? Can I just jump in regard to trading up right now? This is going to be a draft, unlike the first two drafts that Monty Ossenfort had.
True.
This is going to be a draft where if you convinced me that they were trying to target a couple of picks, a couple of picks high in this draft, I'd totally believe you. I'd buy into it. I'd be like, they think they've got a roster right now that is really, really good. And all they need to do is get this guy.
I agree with that.
Do you know what I mean? So the philosophy,
you've been saying that for a while.
The philosophy could be there of, listen, we know what we need. We know what we think we need. And instead of doing the trade back and collect a bunch of picks, somebody could convince me that Monty Ossenfort would move up in the draft to target a player they think, this guy puts us over the top.
So I'm just saying,
philosophically, I'm not disputing anything. I'm just saying philosophically, I could see that.
It feels,
because this draft is not about, hey, let's just draft as many guys as we possibly can.
I 100% agree with that. 100%. There's no reason for that anymore.
They've got a strong roster right now. So if somebody philosophically was going to convince me that they're going to target a couple of guys, and I'd buy into that.
If you didn't already believe that that's where they were, their moves in free agency indicate to me that they're not looking to fill up a roster. They're looking to now specifically, I'm sure they have specific areas in their mind that they want to address in this draft, but it's not the overarching 2 years ago of, man, we don't got much. We got to make a 53-man roster. Yep. We've got like 7 guys we like. We got to fill out a team. I keep saying this. It's the only way I think really to say it. If the season started tomorrow, they've got a team. The draft. Now, you're taking a guy in the first round. You're hoping he can play in week 1, obviously. Yeah. And you need to hit on your picks still, obviously. But they've done so well, I believe, in the first 2 drafts with Monty Ossenfort, and they were so aggressive in free agency that you're right in the sense of, like, if they were there at 16 and some amazing player was there at 13, it's not inconceivable they would move up. I just think there are so many players that they would like at 16 that they're not going to need to.
Right.
Just because of the way this draft is
set
up.
When we're talking about the odds, I think it makes more sense to move back because of how deep this draft is in positions that I think the Arizona Cardinals would target. Positions on the line of scrimmage, offensively and even defensively. I'm just saying. So because of that, because they're so deep, I think, on the offensive line, and I would also say when you consider the edge and interior defensive line as well, I could actually see them moving back as well and just collecting some picks. And then maybe even moving back up. It's going to be really interesting. This is the one thing we do know. Monty likes to move. He does.
Monty on the move.
He's proven that already.
Here is Monty Ossenfort from last week. He was asked about trading either up or back for more picks.
I've never gone into a draft saying I want to trade back, I want to trade up. Like, I think it truly is a matter of opportunity. So, we'll see what happens. And I think it just comes down to weighing offers if we get offers and weighing that versus, hey, if we're gonna be ready to pick a player every time our number's called, and then it's a gamble. Like, if you get a call and there's an offer to move back, then you got to weigh that. Hey, we may lose out on the player that we want here. Is it worth it? Hey, like, what's the cost of jumping up to go get a guy? So, I've never gone into these last 2 drafts. We've never gone in saying, hey, we gotta move back here. We want more picks. Like, it's really we take it as it comes, and we'll see what presents itself next weekend.
Well, if you had a story in your email before the show, ESPN picking Monty Ossenfort as the most likely GM to trade down if somebody does.
Right.
And certainly, we're just talking about the first round right now. But especially what you were saying before about potentially moving up if there's a player you want to grab, I could totally see them doing that in the second round or the third round. And I wouldn't rule out, I guess I shouldn't say I would rule out the first round. I just think that they're going to be happy with who they could get at 16 to the point where they might trade down, like you're saying. But how can you look at Monty Ossenfort as he walks up to the draft and think, that guy, there's no way he'll make a trade? He always looks like he wants to kind of make a trade.
I know. It's so fascinating when you think of, what did they have? 4 third-round picks last year.
Yeah.
4 of them.
Yeah.
Could you see that happening once again? Could you see him trading back and collecting picks, like third-round picks? By the way, have you noticed the guys they got? Garrett Williams in the third round.
Yeah, they haven't just wasted
how's he
these
panned
picks.
out? Is he a guy that you could see the Arizona Cardinals playing? Could you see him being here over the next decade?
Yeah.
Garrett Williams, yes. What about Trey Benson? What about Isaiah Adams? What about these guys? Tip Ryman. What about these guys that they have taken in the third round? Are they good? Do they have promising futures? Yes. And that's why all of a sudden you have to start looking at this as a possibility for the Cardinals.
I don't know. Maybe Garrett Williams isn't the right example for this, but he was injured in college, and there was a lot of talk when they took him in the third round that had he not been injured, this is a guy they would have had to take probably early second round, if not even late first round. And when you have multiple picks like that, you can take I don't want to say flyer because thought Garrett Williams was going to be good, but when you have multiple picks, you can make a pick like that where you're like, this guy probably shouldn't be here, and he's a little injured, but he's not going to be injured forever. And, at that time, it's not like the Cardinals were challenging for the Super Bowl that year. They were trying to add players. So it does give you that freedom. I get it. They don't have a ton of open spots on this roster, but Monty's going to feel weird when the third round rolls around and he has 1 pick to work with. I mean, he had, 4 last year? They had 11 picks last. He's
done very, very well in that third round, too.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.